What's up, YouTube? My name's David, and I'm back with something not new, but kind of reviving it, if that makes sense. A while ago, I made a video, or I think 2 or 3 videos about UFC. It's actually my most popular video was John Jones versus Daniel Cormier. I think it was a predictions video. So now, I feel like I'm going to go over what I think is going to happen in the Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz Part 2 fight. Okay, so now before we start, I am not a fighter. I've never fought. I've wrestled before, but it's 2 completely different things. But I have been watching fights a lot for a couple years. I don't know the exact amount of years, but I feel like I know a lot about it. I have friends that fight. I've watched all type of interviews from fighters, and yeah, I feel like I know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I'm going to try not to go too much into what happened in the first fight, even though it's kind of like right there. But yeah, I feel like it doesn't really have much to do with it because it was just kind of a random outcome. Like, McGregor wasn't training for him, Diaz wasn't training for McGregor at all. But it's still, part of it has to be relevant in what's going to be the new one, because they're still the same people, but they're just going to be more prepared. So to start off, I'm just going to throw it out. I feel like, actually, I don't know what's going to happen. I feel like if I was going to bet money, I'd bet on Diaz. But McGregor's McGregor. He makes things happen. Now, this is the reason why. So, you look at Nate Diaz. I think he's been finished once in his entire career. He has a jaw of steel, which you saw in the first fight because McGregor hit him with insane bombs, like his hardest stuff, and he even admitted it. He hit it with clean shots. In the first round. He pretty much dominated the first round, but Diaz didn't really seem like he was phased at all. So there's part one. The second reason is Diaz doesn't get tired, and McGregor does. Like, if you watch McGregor fight, he pretty much wins instantly, and that's what I've heard a lot of people call it, like twitch muscle fibers fighters. It's like people who come out super early and try to get it done fast because they know they can't make it into the later rounds. McGregor's never really been pushed into the later rounds, but you could see in the first fight he got gassed super fast. He blamed it on him trying to punch him too hard, which could be possible. He was putting too much output in and he wasn't really pacing himself. So now if he puts more time into fighting instead of the like promotions and stuff, then if he might get his stuff right. But to go against that, I think it was Eddie Alvarez was on the Errol Hawani MMA Hour, I think it's what it's called. It's the podcast where they talk about everything, and he was comparing it to McGregor has never had to go that far. And if you compare it to like boxing, when you first start boxing, you start, I think he said 4 rounds. I don't know boxing very well, but you start with lower rounds, and then as you like progress being better and better, you move from those 4 rounds to like 8, and then when you're like championship rounds, you get to 12, right? So they, on purpose, they work you up because your body can't just like get that in shape and that used to working at that output for that long in just like 6 months or whenever you learn about this fight. So even though it's only a 3-round fight, if he's trying to put out that much output and he gets gassed in the first round in the first fight, unless he's training to try to win by a decision, then I really don't feel like it's possible that he will knock out Nate. And you know, if they go on the ground, unless McGregor's some like genie trainer can teach him everything, there's no way he's gonna outclass Nate because he's unstoppable on the ground. Now, there's a lot of people that have been talking about this being almost a career make or break for Conor McGregor, because when you see his kind of rise and his bandwagon and his come up, he's pretty much seemed unbeatable, and that mixed with the fact of him being able to talk as much smack and be such a entertainer as he is. Now, imagine that, but imagine him being a 50-50 fighter where he actually wins some and he loses some. His smack talk won't be as, like, I'm not sure how to say it. His smack talk won't be as, like, real, I guess. Because he can't just walk around saying, I'm the best, I'm going to beat you. If he wins some and he loses some, and he's not like that undefeated fighter like he like kind of should be if he's going to talk that smack. I mean, I don't think the first fight really counted I guess you'd say, because he wasn't training to be a 170. Like, I think his normal weight, I think he weighed in at like 168. So, you know, he didn't even get to the 170 mark when Diaz was right at I actually think he might have been like 169. So I don't know if his body weight was naturally smaller or if he just overcut, because I don't think he was 170. But I don't think it really affects him that much, because if he goes to 170, that's not where he's supposed to be. It was 145 to 170 is 25 plus difference. Is just insane in fighting, because their whole like scheme is the first fight is going to be the weight cut and the second fight is the easy part, and that's the actual fight. So if he loses this, I really don't think it'll be much to his legacy. But now if he does start losing a bunch of fights, like if he drops down to 145, which a lot of people say he doesn't really want to do because the weight cut's terrible for him, plus they got rid of the IV bans, so that'll make it even harder. So I think that the most realistic thing is him going to be 155, which is still a bunch of big dudes compared to what he is, and they're all big hitters. So if he can get rocked by Nate Diaz, he's going to get destroyed by Rafael dos Anjos, who's going to take him down. Eddie Alvarez, they're all going to be hard for him. Now, for Nate Diaz, on the other hand, if he wins this fight, it's pretty much just a payday. Like, during the UFC 200 stuff, when McGregor wouldn't fly in because he thought he was the most beneficial for the company by all of his promoting, making him X amount of dollars compared to everybody else, he was like, screw you, I'm not going to come in. But Nate Diaz basically said, I don't want to fight anybody else. Like, this dude's going to give me the most money, and I'm basically just here for the money, because I don't think he even cares about a title shot anymore. So I think that it's possible that he'll just say, screw it. If he can't get another McGregor fight after this, then he's just going to leave, because there's nobody's going to make him that much money. So yeah, I feel like this could possibly be it for him, unless they offer him a title shot. Okay, so one last time. McGregor wins if he can maintain his stamina and fight for a decision, because I don't feel like he's going to be able to knock Nate Diaz out, because Nate Diaz has a chin. Like, I heard stories that he boxes with heavyweight champions, I believe, is something around those, like really, really good boxer, champion boxers, and they say that he gives out as much as he takes, and he's never been knocked out or like knocked down, which is saying a lot for boxing, and that also says a lot about his boxing in general. He didn't even have a camp, and he came out and outboxed McGregor there for the second. So yeah, if McGregor can fight for a decision and maintain stamina while still outputting enough damage to win rounds, I feel like he can win. If he comes out swinging like he did last time, he's going to lose. If he tries to take it to the ground, he's going to lose. And Diaz wins if he can outpush him, make him tired, and then basically make him crumble like he did in the last fight. Unless McGregor gets tired, I don't really see him getting knocked out either. Like, I feel like it's probably going to be a decision. I don't know. We haven't seen McGregor kind of go against this type of adversity before. Like, he normally comes out really cocky thinking, I'm just going to kill this dude, which normally works. But now, I don't know if he's going to think a little more cautiously. Like, you see in all these big fights, you'll see people come out and they expect it to be like huge brawls, like in the Jose Aldo versus Frankie Edgar fight. You expect it to be huge, except then when they actually come out, they're so like respectful. They call it respect, I don't know. They're cautious and they don't want to get hit, because any like thing could be a one-hit knockout. So I don't know. Well, it's all just gonna see how it plays out. So yeah, this is this video. I hope that you enjoyed it, because it's something I'd like to do. I feel like I could do it for a lot of fights, especially a lot of the big ones. If there's anything I can do to make it better, more enjoyable, please let me know. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good day. Peace.